So what is up, guys? You got your boy Jet Stingren here today, and today we're back with some reverse 1999 content for you guys here today. And today we're going to be showcasing off Marcus. Now I wanted to let you guys know that I am terribly sorry that I was not able to get the showcase out while her banner was still live. I had a lot to record in the last upcoming days of patch 1.8, and I didn't have any way to really get closer to Marcus. I pretty much pulled what I had in the banner. I lost my 50-50 to now P2 Millennia, and then what ended up happening is I ended up just saying, forget it, I'll use what I have and pull anyway, because I really wanted to do the showcase for you guys. And I ended up getting her like 2 days before the banner ended, and I didn't have enough like resources to build her up super fast enough. I did get her up with like 1 day to go, but I ended up falling sick that day, so I couldn't record, so I was a little bit disappointed in myself. I was like, darn it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's talk about what Marcus does. And before we get into that, I do want to give you guys a big thank you from the bottom of my heart. My last video I uploaded about the mains buffs went absolutely crazy. I did not anticipate for that video to do as well as it did. And again, I want to thank everyone who now subscribed, who commented, who liked the video, who even just watched the video. This is just one of those things that as a content creator, you feel very happy to see, because you don't really ever anticipate a video blowing up. I just saw the buffs and I thought they would be interesting to talk about. That was really just it. I was like, oh, these look cool. I want to talk about them. They seem like a really cool concept, even though I'm mainly just a global player. You know, being able to hear from all you guys and what you would like to see and your own personal thoughts about what you think about the buffs were, again, it was a really warming experience. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, from me to you. Just again, maybe one day I'll do something really cool to celebrate the occasion, maybe like a giveaway or something. No promises, but I'm gonna try to do something. But anyway, let's get started and let's talk about Marcus. So Marcus is a mental plant carry. We finally got another carry for plant. We haven't had a plant carry in a very long time. The longest time, I think, in a patch, really in just record history, I think, because let me see. Jessica was in 1.2 and Marcus is in 1.7. So that's 5 whole patches that we went without a single plant carry, which is a little oof. So it wasn't really, you know, fantastic or anything, but we finally got another plant carry. And Marcus is actually a little bit of a cool character because of what she's able to do. And I'll talk about that when I talk about her inheritances, what her skills do and all that stuff. And yeah, so let's get started. Let's talk about with those said inheritances. So her inheritance is called Read the Page, and at Insight 1, she gains Eureka +1, which is common for most Eureka units. A lot of Eureka units gain Eureka +1, which is interesting. At the start of the round, if no enemy has the Annotate status, inflict Annotate on the enemy prioritizing bosses. Okay, cool. At the start of the round, if holding 2 or more Eureka, spend as much Eureka as possible to randomly upgrade on incantations, using 2 Eureka to upgrade from 1 to 2, and 3 Eureka to upgrade from 2 to 3, prioritizing lower ranked incantations. So this is the whole bread and butter of what Marcus is supposed to do. She's going to gain Eureka from a few resources, which namely being her I3, her ultimate, being attacked by an enemy with Annotate status, for example. And that's going to allow her to self-rank up her own cards. And this is really cool because she's tied to yet another effect, which I'll talk about in just a moment, that's going to help accelerate Moxie to her, which can give you like this really cool rotation of just you dealing damage and then going right into your ultimate at like the very next turn, or even just like a couple turns quicker because of this effect. So we'll talk about that. Insight 2 gives her attack +5% whenever she enters the battle. Again, good. And then Insight 3, when entering the battle, gain Eureka +1. At the start of the round, gain Eureka +1. And when entering the battle, if there are 3 or more plant, spirit, or intelligence allies, gain the Percival status. Whenever the requirements are not met, the Percival status is removed. Apologies if I said that name wrong. So Percival, right, is this. So when casting a 2 to 3 star incantation, she grants +1 Moxie to herself, and Annotate, as I mentioned before, she gets +1 Eureka whenever that user triggers an action. So whenever that enemy triggers any sort of action, she just gets +1 Eureka, which is going to be the main way to her to battery up her own cards, which again, very good. And when casting 2 to 3 star incantations, of course, grants that Moxie +1 to self. Now, this is a really good effect, but this also really limits what teams you can run with Marcus. This is kind of the gripe I had with her initially, because she's limited on what she can run. Because you can, I mean, the ideal thing is it's any of 3 plant, spirit, or intelligence. But there's unfortunately not that many options, even if you include just all of the plant units. Now, obviously, now she's got more options because 1.8 did release, which gives her 2 new options to work with. But as of 1.7, her firm options you will want to run with her was like Drubus for sub DPS potential, and of course the support because of Drubus's buff. Anali, because she was a good buffer. Six is probably her best buffer because he can help her rank up incantations for free. Isolde was another one for crit defense, and of course the 75% damage which she can give whenever she's in finale and the power burst and, you know, her ultimate and all that stuff. So those were kind of the main ones you could run. There's not too many other outside options you can run with her, so it was kind of limited if you had those characters, if you really wanted to make use of that unique status. As of 1.8, she now has access to Vila and August, who can actually help her, because August can actually also give her rousing morale, and he also gives her some attack boost, which is really good. And Vila, of course, helps her boost crit rate and crit damage even higher because she is a mental damaging character. So she does effectively get buffed pretty big in 1.8. I won't be using Vila in this video because mine is not ready to be built yet because I only have her I2. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the Vila showcase soon, and I will be using Marcus with her just as a spoiler. But that's really just the one thing I had a little bit of gripe with her, is that it is a little bit hard to build teams, especially if you're a new player. If you started on Marcus's banner, you're going to have a hard time, because if you didn't pull Marcus and then the 6-3 run and then Vila, which would be a really good team to start with, in all honesty, you're going to have a little bit hard time finding teams, right? Because most of our carries can kind of get by with just running like Sonato as a good basic buffer, and then like another healer you probably find along the way, until you kind of start specializing your teams around it. But if without that, Marcus doesn't really get that Percival effect, which is kind of sad. But overall, over time, she will get more better partners to make her more useful. So she is going to get better substantially over time. But of course, now at 1.8, she definitely gets one of the bigger boosts now, with Vila and August. So let's talk about her skills next. So her skill is called Reading Class. It is a 1-target attack that deals up to 450%. And if casted at 3 stars, she gets 30% penetration for this attack. As you can see, 1 or 2 do not have the penetration, so that's really good. Just extra damage on that skill. Very good. Next up is her debuff skill, which is called From the Lantern. It is a mass attack that has 130% mental damage to 2 enemies, and it deals 30% more damage to the target in annotate status. This, of course, ramps up the more stars it has on the card, so it goes from 30, 40 to 75. And if casted at 2-star or above, she inflicts 1 stack of weakness to that targeted to the targeted enemies. So again, overall, pretty solid skills. Just, of course, her AoE is more so focused on the target with annotate, so it becomes a 375 on annotated targets. Good. And 300% is not that bad, not that terrible. And then of course the 450 on this one is actually pretty solid. And this is what her ultimate does, which is another way for her to really accelerate Eureka to herself. So Eureka is a 250% mental damaging attack on all enemies and gains 200%, it does 200% extra damage to the target in annotate status. And she gains 1 stack of preparation Marcus to self and grants Eureka +2 to self. So basically, whenever you cast ultimate, you're automatically guaranteed to rank up, because you're not only going to generate a card for yourself, it's going to be the reading class card, but you generate that reading class card and then you're going to use the 2 Eureka to then rank it up to rank 2. So it's pretty much a guaranteed rank 2 no matter what you do whenever you cast ultimate, which is great. So as you can see right here, it generates the reading class, boom boom, there's that. So let's talk about her cube options. Her cube options, there's 2 options I think I would recommend. Of course, her own unique cube is another story. I do like another story, but it does actually take a little bit of time to ramp up, because of course you have to hit the target totaling to the amount of times, and of course you do get a little bit of incantation might bonus, which is really nice. So I do want to get this up to A5. I was gonna try to get it to A5, but I need a little bit more time to grind up stuff, so I'll just probably just leave it at A3. But I do think another really good option is Blackshimmer of Night. This is really dependent if you are going to run her with someone who has a secondary form of inflicting a negative status. So if you run her with someone like Sotheby or, well, yeah, I guess Sotheby because he is plant unit. Sotheby, Isolde is another one, really the biggest one. And you pretty much get 100% uptime on this effect because she's going to be able to put annotate on the main boss enemy, which of course is the main target you want to deal damage to anyway. So you being able to put this effect on an enemy, and then Isolde or Sotheby's special negative statuses, you know, Isolde's burn or Sotheby's poison as a prime example, will basically give her the effect just being up, just straight up. And I do like BON a little bit more because it's technically the same boost as another story with the damage delta being 24%, with pretty much just a little less overall damage because you get a bonus of 14% incantation might and ultimate might up on this one. This one you don't get no ultimate might at all. You just get the incantation and damage delta. So if you were to go for either or, I do like BON's immediate effect, but of course over time another story does kind of rack up and then you can do it. So I do think that maybe if you're looking for more short-term content, maybe like a story stage, limbo, maybe that will be the card you maybe want to run depending on the teams that you use. But if you want something that's going to be more long-term, then I think you should just go another story, because then of course over time you're going to be able to get up to that 16%, because you have to effectively, if you're doing this at the least minimum cards possible, that means you have to cast 4 3-star cards, right? Which of course, depending on your portrait level, is going to either be easy or difficult. Which at P0, it's not going to be easy, but at higher portrays, then yeah, it gets easier because of the things she can do. But if you're looking at it at just 2-star cards, at the current one that I'm at A3, you have to cast 8 cards at 2-star, which is either going to be pretty easy or pretty difficult depending on enemy AI and all that good stuff. So there's that. Let's talk about her portrays next. Her portrays are of the following: Read the Page, which is going to be her inheritance effect. When entering the battle, Eureka gain is +3. That's good. That means it just makes it a little bit more easier for her to rank up into it's just a little bit easier just to rank up. Well, I mean, it leaves you with 1 extra to rank up, so to speak. So it's really not anything on P1, my bad. P2, however, not only costs 2 Eureka to upgrade incantations from 2 to 3, this actually also decreases the amount that you need for 1 to 2 as well. It doesn't say it here, but it actually does decrease it. So what ends up happening is if you get a P2 Marcus, she effectively ranks up both her cards to 2-star, which basically gives you 4 Moxie at the end of the turn, which is pretty good. That's if you use both, and then, you know, really good. That's actually really, really good. So yeah, and then P3 is just more damage. P4 is going to be increase more Eureka, of course, allowing her to consistently rank up cards even easier. P4 basically guarantees you, I think, a rank 3, which is, again, very, very good. And of course, P5 is going to be just more damage. If you're looking for an ideal number to stop at, I would just say P2 is probably good enough, because that, again, gives you pretty much the most amount of use for her to keep her consistently ranking up both of her cards without much of anything. So I do think that is probably going to be the main way that you want to go. But again, if you're looking to go any further on Marcus, stop at P2. That's all you really need. I don't think you necessarily need the boost on modifiers or anything. And this is going to be our resonance build. We're running just pure attack. Pure attack build is what you want to run if you do not have access to Vila. But if you do have access to Vila, then you can shift over to a crit build. I recommend going crit because, of course, Vila can buff up crit rate, crit damage, because Marcus does not have the greatest critical technique. If you go over to her little kit over here, she only has 305, which is not a lot. So you do need a great external source of someone to help her buff crit. So that's why it's probably best, if you're not running Vila, to just go straight attack. But again, if you do get your hands on a Vila, this is what you want to run, because this is going to be the overall crit damaging build. Which you can see, these are the stats on crit build. A little less attack, but this is what you pretty much run over here, just to get a little bit more crit rate, a little bit of crit damage here. And yeah, so we're going to, of course, use her in the attack build, because that's going to be the better option overall, depending on the team that we use. So that is going to be it for Marcus. I do think that Marcus is a great unit overall. She's one of those units that's kind of a bit of a late bloomer to the party because she didn't really get her best support until this patch. Now that she has gotten access to Bila, she's a lot better now with consistency and getting up damage. Before it was a little bit shaky, but now it's actually pretty decent. So we're going over to the showcase, and I'll see you guys in just a moment. Peace. Alright, so we're going to use her in Limbo 6-1, the one that just released, I believe, a couple days ago or yesterday. So it could have been yesterday, but this is the team we're going to be running her with Marcus 6 and Isolde. So of course 6 is going to be great because he's going to be able to help her empower up her own incantations when we get the 5 or more stacks of Eureka. And of course Isolde is going to be able to provide us with some good damage overall once we get into the finale status. So let's get right into it. So as you can see, as soon as she comes into battle, doink, see? Free rank up just like that. So we're going to go ahead and get started in building up our Moxie for our units. We're a little limited on what we can do. So we'll do this, and we will buff with 6. We'll buff after because it doesn't really matter.
Time to turn the page.
Oh nice, we got a crit. I don't really expect a crit on the attack build, to be honest. Okay, there's the 1 stack of that. We also got another one, which of course allows us to rank up yet again. This is going to let us gain another stack of Moxie. So let's do crit down. We'll do this. And I want to gain a little bit more Moxie on Isolde. Nice hit for a 2-star cast. So gain +1, rank up again. Yep. So I think we will buff. Do I want to just debuff again? I mean, this gets me my ult, so that's a thing. This for sure gets me ult, and yeah, sure. This will give her that incantation might boost as well, so that can help. So I am gonna wait till I can get my ultimate with Isolde as well, because I want to give her that 50% boost. Let's actually do a little bit more debuffing. Let's I guess we can buff her some more. Doesn't hurt. Oh yeah, we can empower incantation too next turn, which is nice. Which I think that's what we're gonna do. Actually, we're gonna actually empower her up too. So let's empower her up, because what this is gonna do is, if she doesn't self-generate any more cards this turn, besides the one she's about to generate, it's gonna allow me to rank up something else. So let's go ahead and do Isolde's effect. We're gonna do her ultimate, and let's see how much damage we can get off. So we get that 50% boost from Isolde. The main target is gonna take quite a bit of damage because of the annotate, but yeah, I think he should die here though. You should die. If we crit, that's even better. Nice. Ah, but we didn't kill. Unfortunate. So she didn't sub-generate any cards, which is unfortunate. And look at that. We're on full Eureka. We're essentially on full Eureka. So there we go. See how I just go straight to rank 3? Really cool. Really cool. All right. I mean, I'm not really too worried about what goes on here. We shouldn't die under no circumstance at all. And we've got more Marcus cards. Nice. I think we will just 6 ult you. We'll go AoE and then we'll go single target and hit something relatively hard.
The scale of your soul has tilted. The balance needs to be restored.
25k, nice. So yeah, we're just gonna go and whack them off the face of the planet. There we go. 22k, not bad. That wasn't even on an annotated target too. So.
Was I helpful, timekeeper?
But yep, that is going to be the showcase for Marcus. So this is using her. This is what we got. Of course, 120k damage, not bad. Isolde right behind with 87k. And yeah, and 6 is primarily our healer because it's a regen. But yeah, so that was really what we did. As you can see, nothing really, no 1-star card was used with Marcus. So that's a really cool thing there. It's just no 1-star card was used, right? Anyway, but that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time with more Reverse 1999 content. Peace.